Jai. 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 Ki Jai. 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 Ki Jai. 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 Ki Jai. Jai. Ki Jai. 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 Hari Hari. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sarvajatam Sahagana Raghunathatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtacha Desatarane Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikayai Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Maudurya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirashanama Chidandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabja Dhritaika Hridi Chaitanya Lilam Rita Sarasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswaminiti Nam Namo Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singha Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshaveti Namane Atimartya Charitraya Swasritanan Chapalane Jiva Duke Sadartaya Sri Nama Premadaya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Namani Shivarsavana Videvi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Nama Madhurya Ujjala Pre Anuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Srimurtaye Dinatarane Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharane Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Rupanugadayate Gaura Virvava Bhumisvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannatayate Namaha Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahabhajanyaya krishna prema he krishnaya krishna chaitanya namane gaura Nityanandam namastubhyam premananda pradayane kalo kalmashanashaya janavapataye namaha panchatattvatmakam krishnam bhaktarupa swarupakam bhaktavataram bhaktakyam namami bhaktashaktikam He Krishna karuna sindho dinabandho jag Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Sute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Hari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mama Mandamatergati Matsarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagar Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestalibhi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamshivata Tatakstitaha Karshana Venu Svanayar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradede Satyavachai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Guru Charana Vadama Kevala Pakati Sadama Shri Guru Charana Vadama Kevala Pakati Sadama Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadama Bandon Mui Savadana Mate Bandon Mui Savadana Bandon Mui Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai এ ভব তরিয়া যায় যাহারা এ ভব তরিয়া যায় যাহারা প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভব তরিয়া যায় যাহারা প্রসাদে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয়ে যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয়ে যাহা হইতে গুরুমুখ পদ্মাবাক্য চিত্তে করিয়া ঐক্য আদান করিহ মনে আশা আদান করিহ মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রাতি এই সে উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রাতি এই সে উত্তম গতি যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जाहा होइते अविद्या विनाश जते এরে গায় যাহারা চরিত শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু অধম জনার বন্ধু লোকনাথ লোকের জীবনা লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মরে পদা ছয়া হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মরে পদা ছয়া দুয়াপদে লইনু শরণ গুরুদেব পতিত পাবন হা হা প্রভু করো দয়া দেহ মরে পদাচ্ছয়া আহা প্রভু করো দয়া deho more padachaya. Ebe yash kushukri bhuvana. Ebe yash kushukri bhuvana. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Haraya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah. Gopal Govinda Ram Srimad Sudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Moha Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gopta Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Ai Chai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan Jaha hoite Vignanasha Vishtapura Chai Gosai Jar Mui Taro Das Chansabada Padarenu Mora Panchagras Chandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas Janame hoy te abhilash Ei Chai Gosai Jabe Braje Koi Lovas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Oh Shri Guru Vaishnava Padem Jayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Koriyas Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamo Das Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jai Nitai Jaya Gaur Jaya Nitai Jaya Gaur Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Gurve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Itadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. What happened to her foot? Oh, it's called falling asleep. Okay. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali unto the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. That I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudev's Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga. And on this appearance or disappearance day, Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj, a very exalted disciple of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his disappearance day. Yes. So we're also honoring him today. And my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis. So now we're continuing with our discussion from the final chapter of Sri Jaiva Dharma, which connects with the purports of the 8th shloka of Sri Upadeshamrita, in which especially Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur began to discuss the topic of the 5 dashas, the 5 states, not stages, but states. Dasha means a state of being, a state of consciousness. And so it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, before that, Vijay Kumar, he requested from Srila Gopal Guru Goswami to explain these 5 dashas. So first of all, he wanted him to explain Shravan dasha. What are the 5 dashas? Shravan dasha, that means stage of hearing. Actually, they're using the word stage here also. Then Varan dasha, the stage of acceptance. That's a big one. Then Smaran dasha, the stage of remembrance. Then Bhav Apan dasha, the stage of spiritual ecstasy, which means Bhav Apan. One has attained Bhav. That's the 4th stage. The 5th is called Prem Sampati dasha, the stage of attaining the highest success of Prem. So now Vijay Kumar wanted to understand Shravan dasha, so he requested Goswami Maharaj to explain Shravan dasha, and he quoted the verse that I've been kind of studying on my own, and all that chapter from the Puranjan Upakyan from 4th canto, 29th chapter. But this verse was quoted by Gurudev very often, because it's talking about how in the association of great personalities, then there are streams of nectar of Harikatha constantly flowing, in which everyone is bathing. So the verse reads, Tasmin Mahan Mukharita Madhubich Charitra Piyusha Shesha Sarita Parita Shravanti Ta ye pibantya vitrisho nripagada karanais tanas prishantya shana trid bhaya shoka moha. So, in assemblies of saintly people, unlimited rivers of pure nectar emanate from the mouths of great souls in the form of descriptions of the transcendental character, pastimes, and qualities of Sri Krishna. Those who are never satiated when they drink these nectarian glories through their ears with rapt attention, those persons who are never satiated, they can never be subjected to what? Hunger, thirst, fear, grief, delusion, and other anarthas. Now Vijay said, again Vijay is asking, those who are averse, Bahirmukha dasha, they also occasionally hear Harikatha, but what kind of Shravan is that? Because he's discussing Shravan dasha. So, because there's 2 types, he said there's 2 types, Bahirmukh and also those who are, forgot the term, Antarmukh, yes, Antarmukh. So, Gopal Guru Goswami answers, there is a vast difference between the Shravan of Krishna Katha in the stage of aversion, that is called Bahirmukha dasha, and the Shravan in the state of being favorably disposed, Antarmukha dasha. Vast difference. The Shravan of those who are Bahirmukha takes place by chance, and not because of their Shraddha. Such Shravan, it gives rise to spiritual fortune that leads towards bhakti unmukha sukriti. That type of Shravan. And when this has accumulated over many lifetimes, it gives rise to transcendental Shraddha. So, 2 types of Shraddha. So, at the stage that this transcendental Shraddha is awakened in the heart, at that stage, then Shravan of Krishna Katha from the lips of saintly personalities is called Shravan dasha. There are 2 types of Shravan dasha. The first is unmethodical or irregular. That type of hearing that is unmethodical or irregular is called krama-heen shravan dasha. It is without proper sequencing. Krama-heen. And the second is hearing methodically in a regular order. That is called krama-shuddha shravan dasha. So now Vijay asks, what is krama-heen shravan dasha, irregular hearing? What is that? Krama-heen shravan dasha is hearing about Krishna Lila in an irregular and an unmethodical manner. Hearing Krishna Lila with irresolute intelligence, it results in this sort of unmethodical shravan. What is it lacking? Irresolute what? Intelligence. Because such hearing does not enable one to realize the relationship between the various leelas, and thus ras does not awaken in his heart. Okay, let's analyze that again a little bit more. Hearing Krishna Lila with irresolute intelligence results in this sort of unmethodical shravan. And because such hearing does not enable one to realize the relationship between the various leelas, and thus rasa does not awaken in his heart. So then Vijay asks, please explain about krama shuddha shravan dasha, systematic hearing. Now Goswami says, ras only awakens in one's heart when Krishna Lila is heard methodically or in a regular order. What will awaken in one's heart? Ras. It will only awaken in this circumstance when Krishna Lila is heard methodically or in a regular order and with resolute intelligence. When one hears the Ashtakaliya Nitya Lila, the eternal eightfold pastimes, separately from the Naimitic Leelas, the occasional Leelas such as Krishna's divine birth and so on, when one hears these two types of Leelas separately, then his shravan is called krama shuddha. Krama shuddha. Only this krama shuddha shravan is desirable on the path of bhajan. Only this type is desirable on the path of bhajan, real bhajan. If one hears Krishna Lila in the krama shuddha manner, then the sweetness and the charm of the Lila, it is gradually conceived, and the inclination to perform rag anuga bhajan, the inclination to perform rag anuga bhajan appears in the heart of the listener. There we go. That's it. That's the point at which it now appears. At that time, he thinks within himself, aho, Subal has such a wonderful Sakya Bhav for Krishna. I will also render loving seva to Krishna like him in Sakya Ras, he thinks. This type of strong affinity is called what? What's the word? The big L word. Lobha. Lobha. Okay? Greed. This type of strong affinity, it is called greed. What strong affinity? That I should also like to serve Krishna like his eternal associate Subal Saka, in that same rasa. Now the performance of Krishna bhajan with such lobha following the sweet bhavs of the Vrajavasis, it is called Rag Anuga Bhakti. What is that? The performance of Krishna bhajan with such lobha. That's the first thing. And the second thing, and following the sweet bhavs of the Vrajavasis. That's called Raganuga Bhakti. Ain't no other type. I have given the example of Sakya Ras, but this type of Raganuga Bhakti is also performed in all the 4 rasas beginning with Dasya. By the grace of my Praneshwar, Sri Nimananda, you have a natural disposition for Shringar Ras. He's telling to Vijay Kumar. You have a natural disposition for Shringar Ras. Because you have heard about the Braja Gopis' exceptional bhavs and their seva attitude towards Krishna, because of this, because you've done what? Because you have heard about the Braja Gopis' about the Braja Gopis' exceptional bhavs and their seva attitude towards Krishna, the greed to render premamayi seva to Krishna like them has appeared in your heart. And that very greed, it has bestowed upon you the path to obtain such a prakrita seva. Question: can that come without hearing the leelas and the pastimes of Krishna? Have we got the praman, the proof right here, that without systematically hearing the leelas of Krishna, this can never take place? Yes or no? Can we only study the Bhagavad Gita and then this will take place? No. No. The Bhagavad Gita is one leela of Krishna, but that leela that is taking place in the Bhagavad Gita is not showing the affinity of the eternal associates. Only Arjuna, who is an eternal associate. So what is required is the entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada gave early on. Why? Because there's no possibility of awakening this affinity and greed and lobha and attraction and qualification without hearing and chanting the leelas and pastimes of Krishna.
That's what yesterday was unsatisfied.
Yeah. So, Prabhupada gave that in the beginning. And he also wanted to give the entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He said in 30 volumes. That was his plan. That the other 11 cantos would be done in 30 volumes, but the 10th canto would also be done in 30 volumes. Why? The commentaries of the Acharyas. 30 volumes. How else are you going to get 30 volumes unless the commentaries of the Acharyas? 90 chapters. Prabhupada estimated 60 volumes would be the totality of his work of translating Srimad Bhagavatam. But he only made it before Krishna decided that he has another seva to do. He only made it up to the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. Yes. So our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, of course, even before that, Srila Prabhupada indicated that he wanted his godbrother Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj to help to complete that. For Pradumna Prabhu, his Sanskrit scholar assistant, would work with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Yes. Because why? Because, and I'm saying this again, in 1975, in front of the new Dwarka, Watsika Boulevard temple, there was a billboard with glass, a glass case billboard. Posted right there in that billboard was the letter that came from Srila Prabhupada, it was the BBT newsletter that Ramaswar had written at that time, every month. That was a monthly letter. And this was written after we completed the 2-month marathon to bring out the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. And just after that, then Ramaswar started to ask Srila Prabhupada a couple of relevant questions, like, Srila Prabhupada, now we're going very quickly. So what if you finish the Srimad Bhagavatam? Then what else will you translate? Perhaps will you translate the Mahabharata, another great epic, or the Vedanta Sutra? And Srila Prabhupada answered, no. Those books are not as important to us, for us, in terms of bhakti, as the books of the Goswamis and the books of our acharyas. They should all be translated. Second question, Srila Prabhupada, just in the event that you may not be able to finish the Bhagavatam before you leave this world, is there anyone else that you can recommend that can do that? And then Prabhupada answered, here's the quote. I've said it hundreds and hundreds of times in my life. And that's why I went to that person, because of this sentence. Prabhupada said there are only 2 persons on the planet who can write purports to the Srimad Bhagavatam in the English language. Myself and my godbrother, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. And then in Prabhupada's final days, he was also asked by his leaders, who can we go to for guidance after you leave? You go to my godbrother, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Did they follow that? Yes. In the next GBC meeting in 1978, before the Gaur Purnima, the GBC delegation came and interviewed Srila Sridhar Maharaj. How do I know that? Because it was transcribed, and then it was sent to every temple in the world. Their conversation with Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Where was I when I received that? Mombasa, Kenya. Yeah. That means it was sent to every single temple all around the whole world. It was sent to every temple. Otherwise, why was it sent to some little temple in Africa? No, they sent it to every single temple. Why? Because this was the official order of Srila Prabhupada. And they wanted everyone to know that it was his order, and they were carrying out his order. And they transcribed the entire conversation with him, which later, a lot of it was included in the book, Sri Guru and His Grace. And then, it was like 15 pages long. And after I read that, then I said, I have to meet this person. That was the point at which, okay, this is the first time I'm actually hearing or reading his spoken katha, and how he was able to answer all these questions which the ISKCON leaders had no idea at all. But he perfectly answered all of them. And not just in that conversation, he answered for the next 11 years after Prabhupada departed. I heard there was 1,200 hours of recorded darshans with him, which many of them were made into books. So my point that I'm making here is that Prabhupada knew that the Bhagavatam and the commentaries and all that had to be given. He knew that. He wanted to do that. And therefore he requested his godbrother even to come and live in Mayapur. We have the conversation and the transcript of the conversation, the recording. Come and live in Jai Pataka's building a house for me. We will live there together. Sometimes I'm traveling, but you can stay there. The whole world is coming to Mayapur. I want that you will be able to give your association to them. And so many other proofs and histories. But not only did he ask this personality, there's another one, which when he was in his final days, he asked Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj to come there to perform his samadhi. And he specifically requested him, you please help my disciples after I leave. And Srila Narayan Maharaj at that time, he couldn't quite understand. He told this later. He couldn't understand why he's asking, because he saw that the ISKCON leaders at that time appeared to be strong as thunderbolts. This is what Gurudev said. So how can I help them? That was his humility. But Prabhupada knew everything. And so he requested him, please help. So then he gave his promise. I promise I will help whenever they will come to me. To the best of my ability, I will help. After that, they did start to come to him some years later. And then for a period of 6 years, from 1988 until 1994, he was giving darshans and classes, which are also all recorded, and some made into books now. So, what was the subject matter? The subject matter was this topic. And also the ISKCON leaders were aware of the fact that they need to get familiarized with this topic. What did they ask him? Which books? Vilapakushamanjali, what else? No, I don't think. Do you know that? You've heard? No. Not Govinda Lilamrita. Also Harinam Chintamani, like that. So what is being stated here in the final chapter of the Jaiva Dharma and in relation to Shravan Dasha is that now Gopal Guru Swami is saying, because you have heard about the Vraja Gopis' exceptional bhavs and their seva attitude towards Krishna, the greed to render premamayi seva to Krishna, like them, it has appeared in your heart. And that very greed has bestowed upon you the path to obtain such a prakrita seva. So what would Srila Narayan Maharaj always tell us as he was touring around the world? I'm simply praying that all of you can attain ruchi in this life. But if not ruchi, then at least nishta. He would say this. So, then Goswami Maharaj says, in reality, the only Shravan Dasha of this process is the confidential conversation between Guru and disciple. Because in this stage, in reality, this is very confidential, this Shravan Dasha, because it includes all these, what we just heard about. What subject matters? Krishna and the gopis, how the gopis' moods, everything. So who traveled all over the whole world? Is there a Vaishnava personality that traveled the length and the breadth of the entire world to discuss and enlighten everyone about all of this, these moods? Yes. Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audaurya Madhurya Gunaischa Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasha Namami. That was his great gift. Not only his lectures, he gave the books. He gave the necessary books that anyone will need to move forward towards these stages. So now Vijay, after hearing this, he said, when is one's Shravan Dasha considered completed? That's a good question, isn't it? When is it completed? When is it to be considered? Yes, now it's completed, this stage. Then Goswami says, one's Shravan Dasha is completed when one realizes the eternality of Krishna Lila. When one realizes the eternality of Krishna Lila. Since Krishna Lila is supremely pure and transcendental, it completely captivates the mind and the heart. Yes. Since it's completely pure and transcendental, it completely captivates the mind and the heart. One is then afflicted with acute impatience to enter into it and to participate in it. Impatience, acute impatience. It's an affliction. It's an affliction. That I must enter into it and participate in it. That's what is needed. And Sri Guru Dev describes to the Shishya the Ekadash Bhavs that I mentioned previously. Shravan Dasha should only be considered completed or perfected when the disciple's disposition of mind is imbued with the loveliness of the Leela. And at that time, the disciple is afflicted with intense eagerness and attains Varan Dasha, the stage of acceptance. So now Vijay, he asks, "O Prabhu, please tell me about Varan Dasha." Goswami, when the spontaneous attachment of the heart is bound in the Leela by the shackles of the Ekadash Bhavs that I mentioned previously, then the disciple becomes overwhelmed and falls at Guru Dev's lotus feet, weeping constantly. I'm reading that sentence again. When the spontaneous attachment of the heart is bound in the Leela by the shackles of what? There's some shackles that are binding this spontaneous attachment of the heart. It's binding it in the Leela. What are those shackles? The shackles of the Ekadash Bhavs. Ekadash, the 11 items of the spiritual body. And Goswami is saying, I mentioned this previously. When this happens to the disciple, at that time, when this happens, that his spontaneous attachment of the heart is bound in the Leela by the shackles of the Ekadash Bhavs, the disciple becomes overwhelmed. He falls at Guru Dev's lotus feet, weeping constantly. At that time, Guru Dev becomes manifest in the form of a Saki, and the disciple as her attendant. At that time. Yes. What do you mean, externally? Ekadash, not Ekadasi. I'll read on and we'll see. So, at that time, Guru Dev becomes manifest in the form of a Saki, and the disciple as her attendant. Now, if I were to attempt to explain this, I would say, through the vision of the heart, not outwardly. The essential characteristic of the Vraja Gopis is that they are extremely eager to render loving service to Sri Krishna. Gurudev is a Vraja Lalana who has reached the perfectional stage of this seva. At that time, the disciple humbly prays to Sri Gurudev with the following heartfelt sentiments, because he fell on the floor bitterly weeping. And now he says the following prayer. This is from Premam Boja Marandakya Stavaraj, 2 verses. I need the light. How do you know? Bhagavad, how does he know? He wasn't in the room. Yeah, okay. We can check on that, but I doubt it. But we can check on that. Because how is he going to see it externally? Told you. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. But it doesn't say he's not externally. That's why we just made this point. Because he asked the question, how can it be external? No. It's internal vision. And Guru is revealing this in the heart of the disciple. And the disciple is realizing this, realizing it. Not only that, but he's also realizing his own form at that time. It cannot be external. How can it be? That's different. Come on. Come on. You can't compare, okay? Ramananda Rai and Mahaprabhu. That's not comparable to what we're discussing here. A devotee who's in the stage of Varandasha, and how now his heart becomes completely overwhelmed. This is the first time that this is happening to the disciple to this degree. Yeah. Not yet. So now, Tvam natva yachate dritva trinam dantair ayam jana Sva dasyam ritashekena jivayamum sudukkitam namunchech charanayitam api dushtam dayamaya ato radhalike ha ha munchainam naivatadrisham. Oh Radhi, here it says radhalike. That's nice. Radhalike. O Radhalike, I am very degraded. This is now, who's saying this prayer? Who's saying this prayer? Vijay Kumar is saying this prayer to who? In the presence of his Gurudev. So at that time that he sees that Gurudev is a Vraja Lalana who has reached the perfectional stage of this seva, and he has the desire. Wait. At that time, Gurudev becomes manifest in the form of a Sakhi, and the disciple as her attendant, and the disciple becomes manifest. The essential characteristic of the Vraja Gopis is that they are extremely eager to render loving service to Sri Krishna. And Gurudev is a Vraja Lalana who has reached the perfectional stage of this seva, So at that time, the disciple humbly prays to Sri Gurudev with the following heartfelt sentiments. O Radhalike, I am very degraded, holding a blade of grass between my teeth and falling at your lotus feet with all possible humility. I pray that you will kindly shower your grace upon this destitute soul and enliven me by bestowing the nectar of service under your direction and guidance. Those who are celebrated as kind and as merciful, they do not reject even wicked people who accept their shelter and who surrender unto them. This is their very nature. Therefore, please be kind to this wicked person who has surrendered unto you. Please do not deprive me of your causeless grace. I am longing so intensely for the loving service of the divine couple of Braja under the shelter of your lotus feet. So this is the typical bhav, mood, of Varandasha. Yes, this is the typical bhav of Varandasha. In this stage, the Guru Rupa Sakhi gives the sadhak the order, the agya, to engage in Ashtakaliya Lila Smaranam by taking complete shelter of Krishna Nam while residing in Braj, and he assures him that his heartfelt, cherished longing will be fulfilled very soon. Now Vijay asks, please tell me about Smaran Dasha. So that completes Varan Dasha. Please tell me about Smaran Dasha. Smaran Dasha. Then Goswami answers, Sri Rupa Goswami has said these three verses in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 2, 294 through 296. Krishnam smaram janam chasya preshtam nija samihitam tat kata rataschaso kuryad vasam vraje sada seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tad bhava lipsuna karya vraja loka anusarata shravanot kirtanadini vaidha bhakti uditani tu yan yangani chatanyatra vigyayani manishibi. Translation of these three essential verses describing Raganuga Bhakti. The sadhak should constantly remember Sri Krishna along with his beloved eternal associates. He should absorb himself in chanting and hearing their glorious pastimes. He should absorb himself in chanting and hearing their glorious pastimes. And he should always reside in Braj. So whose glorious pastimes is he going to be reciting and chanting and hearing? Yes, Krishna's pastimes with his eternal associates. Next verse. Those who have developed greed for Ragatmika Bhakti will render service following the residents of Braja internally by Siddha Rupa and externally in their Sadhak Rupa. So that's internal and external. How do they do it in their external? Yes, like the Goswamis. That's why the verse in the 8th verse is telling Tishtan Braje Tad Anuragi Jananukami, because there's two types of following in this stage. One type is with the external body, Seva Sadhaka Rupena, as the Goswamis have demonstrated in Braj. and wandering and chanting and doing dandavat pranams and weeping and praying and all of that. Yes, right. So, but with the internal spiritual body, then he is also serving in what? In the Ashtakaliya Leela, under whose guidance? Guru Rupasaki. Yeah.
These three verses are quoted in Srimad. We understand that these three verses are really meant for something.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's complete the explanation, and then we can understand. All right. So the third verse. I remember we were in Russia with Gurudev once, and he was trying to remember this third verse, and then I think Madhav Maharaj reminded him, because the third verse is telling how that person will live within this world while doing this type of raga nuga bhajan, internally, externally, so forth. So Rupa Goswami has added this verse to make the understanding complete that one has to follow the regulative principles as far as possible, because in their moods, sometimes they're not. So what he says is, those who are well versed in transcendental knowledge, tattvavit, they know full well that all the various limbs of bhakti, such as Shravan and loud kirtan, should also be practiced in Rag Anuga Bhakti. So that's why Shravanot Kirtanad Nadini Vaidi Bhakti Uditani tu. So, in other words, kirtan, loud kirtan. So just like Krishnot Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro, and Hey Radhe Vraja Devi Ke Chalalite, like this. The Goswamis we're always doing loud kirtan, crying and weeping. So now, after quoting these three verses, even before Vijay Kumar had heard the in-depth explanation of these three shlokas, because he's about to give an in-depth explanation, he asked, what is the meaning of Kuryad Vasam Vraje Sada? That means what? That's in the first verse. Kuryad Vasam Vraje Sada. Sada means always. And Vasam Vraje means to live in Braj, or Navadvipdham. Navadvipdham is also Braj. So now Goswami answers that question. He says, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, it means that the sadhak should reside physically in Braj Mandala. In other words, in the pastime places of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, their Leela Mandala. If he cannot stay in Vraj physically, then he should do so mentally, because the result of residing in Vraj mentally is the same as residing there physically. So I think we can turn that opposite also and say, without mentally residing there, even if you're physically residing, you're not in Braj, actually. And Gurudev has said this many times. And that's stated in the Navadvipdham Mahatmya also. So, the sadhak should follow in the footsteps of who? In this stage? Of the particular Saki whose loving bhavs, premik rag, has attracted him. The particular Saki. He should reside in Braja with the Abhiman. What does Abhiman mean? Huh? Yeah, self-conception. So he should reside in Braja with the Abhiman of being a what? A Kunja Sevika. A maid attendant in the Kunja, of that particular Saki. He should constantly remember Sri Krishna and the bhav of that Saki. With this gross body, the sadhak should perform the angas of Vaidhi Bhakti such as Shravan and Kirtan. With his subtle body, he should constantly remember the Ashtakaliya Leela and render his assigned seva as a Siddha Vrajagopi according to the 11 bhavs that he has attained. So at this stage, he's attained that. Outwardly, the sadhak must maintain his life following the prescribed rules and regulations, and internally, he should cultivate the bhavs that nourish his spiritual form, his siddhadeha. One who follows this procedure correctly will naturally develop detachment from anything other than Braj. Well, that's great. Wow. One who follows this procedure correctly will naturally develop detachment from anything other than Braj. Now Vijay asks, please illustrate this seva more clearly. Then Goswami answers, the real meaning of Vrajvas, is to stay in a solitary place with a prakrita bhav. What does a prakrita bhav mean? Completely supramundane, transcendental moods, a prakrita bhav. That the meaning of Vrajvas is to stay in a solitary place with a prakrita bhav. The sadhak should render seva according to the Ashtakaliya Leela, while regularly chanting a fixed number of Harinam. He should regulate all the activities for bodily maintenance so that they do not become unfavorable to his bhajan. In other words, life should be molded in such a way that activities of bodily maintenance become favorable to one's bhajan. So that's necessary, that his activities for bodily maintenance should not be unfavorable. Yes. He should regulate all the activities for bodily maintenance so that they do not become unfavorable to his bhajan. And in other words, life should be molded in such a way that activities of bodily maintenance become favorable to one's bhajan. Now Vijay Kumar contemplated this deeply, and he said, Prabhu, I have understood this fully. I have understood it fully. But how can the mind be composed? How can the mind be composed? So then Goswami answered, the mind automatically becomes composed as soon as one attains Rag Anuga Bhakti. The mind automatically becomes composed as soon as one attains Rag Anuga Bhakti. This is because the hankering of the mind. Why does that happen? Why does the mind automatically become composed as soon as one attains Raganuga Bhakti? Why? Because this is because of the hankering of the mind for worldly enjoyment. It automatically ceases when it is enlivened with the inherent loving attachment of the self. And it runs towards Braja. Again, the mind automatically becomes composed as soon as one attains Raganuga Bhakti. This is because the hankering of the mind for worldly enjoyment automatically ceases when it is enlivened with the inherent loving attachment of the self, and it runs toward Braj automatically. In other words, the mind chases after mundane enjoyment only because of its affinity for it. But when this affinity is directed towards Vraj, the mind becomes composed because of the absence of such attachment for worldliness. It's a good trick. We have to learn this trick. Yeah? Yes. In other words, the mind chases after mundane enjoyment only because of its affinity for it. But when this affinity is directed towards Braja, then the mind becomes composed because of the absence of such attachment for worldliness. Still, if any apprehension of obstacles remains, it is beneficial to adopt the gradual, the krama course that I mentioned previously. Then, when the mind becomes fully composed, then the distractions of worldliness cannot cause any harm. Cannot cause any harm. Now Vijay says, what is the meaning of krama cultivation, or gradual cultivation? Because that's what he just told. That if any apprehension of obstacles remains, then it is beneficial to adopt the krama course, the gradual course that I mentioned previously. And then when the mind becomes fully composed, then the distraction of worldliness cannot cause any harm. And so now he's asking, what is the meaning of this krama, this gradual cultivation? Then Goswami answers, one should maintain a fixed count of Harinam, and one should devoutly chant Sri Harinam for a fixed period every day in solitude, absorbed in his particular bhav, and keep his mind free from mundane thought. Slowly and gradually, one should increase the time for this sadhana. And eventually, the stage will come when the mind will always be saturated with alokik, chinmoy bhavs, so that no mundane thoughts can prevail over it. Then Vijay says, for how long must one follow this practice? Goswami answers, one should continue to follow this practice until he has reached a state of mind that is beyond any disturbance. Vijay, how can one perform Nam Smaran with Bhav? Please elaborate on this point. Then Goswami says, first you should chant Nam in the mood of Ullas. You know what that means? It means a mood of rejoicing, ullas, bhav ullas. First, you should chant Nam in that state. Then combine that joy with possessiveness, mamata. And after that, you should compound the mamata with vishramba, intimacy. And when you do this, Shuddha Bhav will gradually arise. Let's read that one again. Repeat after me. First you should chant Nam in Ullas, a mood of rejoicing. Then combine that joy with possessiveness, mamata. After that, you should compound that mamata with vishramba, intimacy. So what's the first one? Ullas. Second one, mamata. And third one, vishramba. And when you do this, Shuddha Bhav will gradually arise. And then Bhav Apan Dasha will appear. Initially, during the time of Smaran, remembrance, the sadhak simply imposes bhav on his practice. Kind of like what we heard about, what is that called? That term for mixed bhakti? Arop siddha, yes. You're imposing your own desires upon bhakti. But in this case, the sadhak simply imposes bhav on his practice, right? In the stage of smaran. However, in the stage of bhav apan, then shuddha bhav manifests in the heart, and this is called prem. This indeed is the sequence for gradual development of nishtha within the heart of the upasak, the transcendental servant. And this practice, it also includes the development of nishtha in the conception of the object of upasya, or the object of one's seva. I'm reading that again. This indeed is the sequence for gradual development of nishtha within the heart of the upasak. And this practice also includes the development of nishtha in the conception of the object of upasya. That means the object of one's seva. Vijay asks, what is the sequence of upasya nishtha? Then Goswami answers, if you want to attain the fully blossomed stage of prem, then you should accept the following instruction of Sri Das Goswami in his Manasiksha, verse number 3. Yadiccheravasan vrajabhuvi saragam pratijanur yuvadvandvam tachchet paricharitum arad abhilase Swarupam Shri Rupam Saganam Ihatasyagrajamapi Sputam Premna Nitya Smaranamatада Tvam Shrinumana. So this is in answer to the question, what is the sequence of upasya, nishtha? And then he's telling that if you want to attain the fully blossomed stage of prem, then you should accept the following instruction. What is this instruction? O mind, if you cherish an ardent desire to live in Vraj with raga, to live in Vraj with raga, it says here, saragam. And if you long to render direct loving seva, life after life, to Braj Jugal in their parakiya affairs, which are free from any bondage to the rules of wedlock, then you must distinctly and constantly remember with love Sri Swarup Goswami and Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan Goswamis, along with their associates. You should accept them as your Guru Rupa Sakhis, and you should offer them pranam. So this is the translation of that third verse. And now he's explaining. The idea is that if one performs sadhan in the bhav of svakiya ras, the result is samanjasa rasa, in which the seva bhav to the divine couple is inhibited and not in a fully blossomed state. If he does what? Performs sadhana in the bhav of what? Svakiya ras. Then the result is that it becomes samanjasa rasa, in which the seva bhav to the divine couple is inhibited and not in a fully blossomed state. Therefore, you should perform bhajan maintaining the spiritual ego or the spiritual abhiman of pure parakiya rasa, according to the conceptions of Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa, and Sri Sanatan. And even during the sadhana stage, when the bhavs are simply imposed, okay, that's even during the sadhana stage when they're being imposed, then one should only adopt the pure Parakya Bhav. If the sadhak imposes the Parakya Bhavs, then Parakya Rati will manifest, and Parakya Rasa will eventually manifest from this. So, again, if the sadhak imposes the Parakya Bhavs, then Parakya Rati will manifest, and Parakya Rasa will eventually manifest from this Parakya Rati. So the Parakya Ras will come from Parakya Rati. This indeed is the Nitya Ras of Vraja Aprakrita Lila. Yes. No, Aprakat Lila, not unmanifest in the Nitya Dham. This indeed is the Nitya Ras of Vraja Aprakat Lila. Then Vijay asks, what is the process of hearing the Krama Shuddha in sequence in the Ashtakali Lila? What is the process of hearing in sequence in the Ashtakali Lila? Goswami, after explaining all the fascinating varieties of rasa in Ashtakali Lila, then Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Ataladvad, Aparatvad, Apto so Durvigahatam, Sprishtai Param Tatashtena, Rasabdir Madhuro Yata. This is from the Ujjvala Nila Mani. This means Krishna Lila is completely transcendental from all aspects. So he's asking the question, what is the process of hearing the Krama Shuddha in the sequence in Ashtakali Lila? And then he's telling that after explaining all the fascinating varieties of rasa in Ashtakali Lila, Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Krishna Lila is completely transcendental from all aspects. It is a sweet ocean of rasa. However, this ocean is unfathomable and it has no shore. And Krishna Lila is incomprehensible for the beings of this mundane world because it is extremely difficult for them to penetrate the mortal realm. Yeah. Very difficult for the beings of this world to penetrate the mortal realm and have access to Shuddha Aprakrita Tattva, the pure transcendental reality. The Aprakrita Ras is so astonishing, so variegated, and all-pervading. Astonishing, variegated, all-pervading. What? The Aprakrita Ras. And that it cannot be surpassed. It cannot be. Moreover, even if one who has been enlivened with the Prakrita Bhav and who lives within the pure Tattva, if that person who has been enlivened with the Prakrita Bhav and who lives within that pure Tattva, if he explains the esoteric Krishna Lila, his description cannot be flawless or complete. Because why? Because description depends on words. And words are incapable of fully expressing that transcendental reality. What to speak of such a person when Bhagavan himself describes a Prakrita Ras? Listeners and readers who are themselves overwhelmed by mundane faults and limitations, they perceive even in his own description as faulty. So consequently, it is certainly very, very difficult to dive deep into the ocean of rasa. However, when one is situated on the shore of this ocean in a neutral state, one can describe just a drop of it. Then Vijay asks, then how is it possible to attain a Prakrita Ras? Because that sounded pretty like impossible. So now he's asking, how then does it become actually possible to attain this aprakrita ras? Goswami says, Madhur ras is unfathomable. Madhur ras is matchless, and it is difficult to understand. This is the very nature of Krishna Leela. However, our beloved Krishna, he is unlimitedly endowed with two special qualities, which are the real basis of our hopes, that Krishna has these two special qualities. He is Sarva Shaktiman. He is possessed of all potencies. Sarva Shaktiman. He has all Shaktis. And Ichamoy. What does Ichamoy mean? He's possessed of his own unimpeded and independent will. So, those two things give hope. Therefore, by his sweet will, he can easily make his esoteric leelas manifest in this mundane world, although they are unlimited, unfathomable, and difficult to understand. But he can easily do it. This mundane realm is extremely insignificant and petty. But still, as the supreme autocrat, he desires to bring the topmost transcendental aspects of Krishna Leela to this world. It is only by his causeless mercy that his transcendental, eternal, sweet Leelas, which are saturated with rasa, aprakrita nitya madhur rasamai Leela, it is only by his causeless mercy that his transcendental, eternal, sweet Leelas, which are saturated with rasa, that they have manifested in this mundane world. It is only by his causeless mercy. So how is it possible for Mathura Dham, which is aprakrita, transcendental to this mundane world, how is it possible for that Sri Mathura Dham to manifest in this world? And how does it exist here? This is Goswami asking this question. No argument can be applied in this matter, because it is never possible for the limited intelligence of humans or devatas to understand the activities of Bhagavan's Achintya Shakti, Vraj Leela, in this world. Vraj Leela in this world is the Prakat Bhav. That means it's the manifest experience. Prakat. There's Prakat and Aprakat. Manifest, unmanifest. So, Vraj Leela in this world is the Prakat Bhav, the manifest experience of the topmost Krishna Leela, which is transcendental to this mundane realm. We have realized and attained it. So there is no cause of anxiety for us. Who's he talking about? Himself and Vijay Kumar. Then Vijay says, if Prakat Leela and Aprakat Leela are both the same tattva, then how is it possible for the one to be superior to another? And Goswami answers, undoubtedly both are the same. The Leela that is manifest here, indeed, it exists in its entirety in the transcendental realm. However, from the point of view of the conditioned souls in the initial stages of sadhana, it appears one way. From the point of view to who? The conditioned souls in their initial stages of sadhana, it appears one way from their point of view. But as they gradually advance, then it appears in progressively elevated forms. And in the stage of bhava apan, realization of this Leela is completely pure. Vijay, you are eligible to hear this subject. So I have no hesitation in speaking with you. One attains the stage of Bhav Apan in his Smaran Dasha as a result of performing the appropriate sadhana for a long time. And during the stage of Smaran, when one becomes completely free from all the polluted moods of his mundane experience, then the stage of Apan, realization of one's Swarup, appears. When? During the stage of Smaran, when one becomes completely free from all the polluted moods of his mundane experience, then the stage of Apan, realization of one's Swarup, appears. Shuddha Bhakti mercifully appears in the sadhak's heart according to the degree of appropriate practice in Smaran Dasha. So here he's saying Shuddha Bhakti. Did Gurudev say Shuddha Bhakti a lot in his lectures? Did he give the definition of Shuddha Bhakti a lot? Sure did. Continually, non-stop. Why? Because what he's come to give is this. And without Shuddha Bhakti, impossible. Never, never, never can be attained. So Shuddha Bhakti mercifully appears in Smaran, it appears in the sadhak's heart according to the degree of appropriate practice in Smaran Dasha. Bhakti alone is Krishna Akarshani. What does Krishna Akarshani mean? It is attractive to Krishna. Only bhakti. Bhakti alone, nothing else is attractive to Krishna. So by Krishna's grace, by his grace, all the dirt in the form of misconceptions is gradually removed in Smaran Dasha. All the dirt of misconceptions is gradually removed in Smaran Dasha. And therefore, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, 26th verse, Yata yatatma parimrijyate aso mat punya gata shavana bidanai tata pashyati vastu sukshmam chakshur yataya vanjana samprayuktam. This means, just as anointing the eyes with salve gives them the power to see even subtle objects, similarly, when the jiva's heart is cleansed by the shravan and kirtan of my supremely purifying Leela Katha, he gains the ability to realize extremely subtle tattva, namely the truth about my Swarup and my Leelas. Who spoke this verse? Krishna. To who? To Uddhav. This is in the middle of his conversation. So Goswami says, after quoting this, he says, when the eyes are treated with ointment, they can see much more clearly. So in just the same way, a jiva can realize the aprakrita swarup, the transcendental nature of the manifest Krishna Leela, to the extent that he is purified by contact with the aprakrita vastu, the transcendental reality, through what? Through Shavan, Kirtan, and Smaran of Krishna Leela Katha. That's why Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanano Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. That's what it's talking about. Everything that we've just heard up to here. So it is said in the Brahma Samhita, verse 38, guess what? Nope. In relation to what we just heard about the eyes and the salve. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. What's the meaning of this verse, O learned Vaishnavas? Premanjana Churita Bhakti vilochanena. What's prem and what's anjana?
The salve of love.
Yes, the salve of prem, bhakti vilochanena, is smeared on the eyes. That prem bhakti, that salve is smeared on the eyes. Right? Then, santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Santak is who? It's the saintly person who has now become qualified to smear premanjana on his eyes. Sadaiva hridayeshu, within his heart, vilokayanti. He always has darshan in his heart of who? Yam shyama sundaram achintya guna swarupam. Achintya guna swarupam. Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yes. So, at this stage, the translation, I perform bhajan of the primeval Purusha, Sri Govinda, who is Shyama Sundar, Krishna. His form has inconceivably unique qualities, and his Shuddha Bhaktas perpetually see him in their hearts with the eye of devotion, anointed with the salve of love. So at the stage of Bhav Apan, Bhav Apan means Swarup Siddhi, the faculty of transcendental vision appears. And at that time, then the sadhak can have darshan of his Saki and also his Yuteshwari Srimati Radhika. At what stage? Bhav Apan, Swarup Siddhi. Even after having darshan of Golokanath Sri Krishna, the sadhak's realization is not steady at all times until he achieves the stage of what? Sampati Dasha, Vastu Siddhi. What stage? Sampati Dasha, Vastu Siddhi, in which his gross and his subtle bodies are destroyed. Bye-bye. In Bhavapan Dasha, the pure jiva has full command over the inert, gross, and subtle bodies. Yes, in that stage of Bhavapan, he has full command over the inert, gross, and subtle bodies. However, the secondary result of Sampati Dasha, the stage in which Krishna's mercy is fully manifested, is that the connection of the jiva with this mundane world is completely cut off. Completely cut off. Bhav Apan Dasha is called Swarup Siddhi. And in Sampati Dasha, one attains Vastu Siddhi. Vijay says, how does one experience Krishna's Nam, Guna, Rupa, Lila, and Dham at the time of Vastu Siddhi? So Goswami answers, I cannot answer this question. I will only be able to see them and speak about them when I attain Vastu Siddhi, and you will only be able to understand and realize these things when you attain Sampati Dasha. At that time, there will be no further need to make you understand the various aspects of Krishna Lila. You will perceive it directly, so you will have no more need for further inquiry. Besides, it is useless for the bhakta to express what he sees in his Swarup Siddhi, that is, in his Bhavapan Dasha, because none of his hearers will be able to realize what he is saying. Srila Rupa Goswami has described the symptoms of the Swarup Siddha Mahapurushas as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, here's the verse. Jane chej jata bhavepi vaigunyam iva drishyate karya tatapi na suya Kritartha sarvatayavasa. One may see, this is the translation, one may see some apparent imperfection or misconduct in the external behavior of bhaktas who have attained the stage of bhav. Even so, it is essential not to be envious of them by attributing faults to them, because they have become completely detached from everything other than Krishna, and therefore they are fully successful in every respect. And then he quotes another verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Danyasyayam nava prema yasyon milati chetasi antarvani bir apyasya mudra shushtu sudurgama. This prem only appears in the hearts of those who are very fortunate. Even those who are learned in Shastra, they find it very difficult to comprehend the activities and movements of those in whom the new sprout of prem has appeared. Vijay asks, if that is so, then why are there attempts in Sri Brahma Samhita and other such shastras to give a description of Goloka? Goswami answers, when great sadhus are situated in their Swarup Siddhi, and when Brahma and other devatas have been mercifully granted a vision of Shri Krishna's transcendental pastimes, they have tried to glorify such pastimes through their stavas and their stutis according to their respective visions. However, such descriptions are only limited because this mundane realm has no proper words to express the aprakrita bhavs. Besides, bhaktas who are not sufficiently advanced cannot fully comprehend such descriptions. The bhaktas, however, have no need for all these descriptions. It is recommended that they should perform bhajan by taking support of the prakat lila that Sri Krishna has very kindly manifested in this world. And they will accomplish all perfection by this alone. So what should they do? They should take shelter of the prakat lila. Yes, in this world, what Krishna has manifested. And then they will accomplish all perfection by this alone. So those who perform such bhajan in Gokul, meaning in the prakat lila, with nishta, they will soon receive a spurti of Goloka in their hearts. All the Divya Leela of Gokul are also eternally existent in Goloka. What's eternally existent in Goloka? All the Divya Leela of Gokul. Yeah? For actually in Tattva there is no distinction between them. Those with material vision, they perceive phenomena and activities in Gokul as mundane or as illusory. But such perception ceases to exist at the time of Swarup Siddhi. One should continue. These are his final words. These are Goswami's final words. Yes. And then becomes the last 4 paragraphs of this chapter. So he says, one should continue to perform bhajan and be satisfied with whatever realization of the transcendental reality is bestowed upon him according to his adhikar. This is really Sri Krishna's instruction. If we sincerely adhere to his instructions in due course of time, he will surely bestow on us his causeless mercy, through which we can have the full vision of his Divya Leela. So that's the end of the instructions of Gopal Guru Goswami. And now, this is the next word, now. What did Vijay Kumar do? Now Vijay Kumar became completely free from doubt in every respect. He fully awoke to his innate disposition, and he skillfully dovetailed all the Ekadas Bhavs in Krishna Leela. He seated himself in his bhajan kutir on the seashore. Where? Jagannath Puri. And he became completely composed, and he spent his entire time relishing Prem Seva. During this time, Vrajanath's mother, that's the other devotee, Vrajanath's mother left this world, and Vrajanath left for his native place along with his grandmother. In Vrajanath, Sakya Prem had arisen in his unalloyed heart, and thus he resided in Navadvip Dham, in the association of sincere Vaishnavas, and he performed his bhajan blissfully on the bank of Bhagavati Ganga. Where? Navadvip Dham. Now Vijay Kumar, however, he gave up his householder's dress. He accepted the kopin and the bahirvas of the renunciate. He maintained his life by madhukari, begging Sri Mahaprasad while remaining constantly absorbed in bhajan. Throughout all the 8 praharas of the day and night, he only took a little rest during the time of Sri Sri Radha Krishna's transcendental sleep. And after they ate, then he would honor prasad, and when they were awake, he would render appropriate seva. His Harinam Mala was in his hands at all times. Sometimes he would dance, and sometimes he wept loudly, and at other times, while gazing at the waves of the sea, he would laugh. Who but Vijay himself could understand the movements of his bhajan and the transcendental bhav in his heart? Outwardly, his name became Nimai Das Babaji. He never indulged in speaking or hearing worldly talk. He was the very embodiment of humility. His character was spotless, and his determination in bhajan was unwavering. If anybody offered him Mahaprasad or Kopin Bahir Vas, he accepted only the very least that he needed and not more. While he was chanting Harinam, tears constantly rolled down his cheeks. His throat became choked, and the hairs of his body stood erect. Within a short span of time, he attained perfection in his bhajan, and Sri Krishna most graciously bestowed upon him the adhikar to render seva in his aprakat lila. Like Brahma Haridas Thakur, his bhajan deha, the body in which he performed bhajan, was buried under the sands at the beach of Puri. Gaur Premanande. So,
Is that somebody near?
We don't know where it is. I've not heard. So now the last, he composes the completion, a few prayers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the end of this Jaiva Dharma. He says, Bolo Bhagavan Shri Krishna Chandra Ki Jai. Guru Krishna Vaishnaver Kripa Bal Dhari. Bhakti Vinoda Deen Bahu Jatna Kari. After striving many days and carrying upon his head the Kripa Shakti of Sri Guru Krishna and the Vaishnavas, this lowly Bhakti Vinod, Vira Chila Jaiva Dharma Gaudiya Bhashai, Sampurna Hoilo Granta Magi Purnimaya. This Bhakti Vinod has composed Jaiva Dharma according to the pure conceptions of the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. This book was fully complete on the Maghi Purnima, the full moon day of the month of Magh. Isn't that tomorrow? Isn't tomorrow Maghi Purnima? Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll check. And then he says, Chaitanyabda Chari Shatadashe Navadvipe Godrum Surabhikunje Janavi Samipe. In the year 410 of the Chaitanya era, which means 1896, at Surabhikunj in Godrumadweep, near the sacred river Janavi, in Navadvip Mandal, yes, that this was completed in the month of Magh, there at that place. Shri Kali Pavana Gora Pade Jar Ash E Granta Padun Tini Korya Vishvas. Those who desire the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga, the purifier of the age of Kali. Those who desire what? The shelter of Sri Gauranga, who is the purifier of the age of Kali. They should read this book with faith. They should read this book with faith. Gaurange Jaharana Janmilo Shraddhalesh E Granta Padite Tare Shapat Vishesh. However, I take an oath that someone who has not developed even a trace of Shraddha for Sri Gauranga Dev should not read this book. Final verse. Shushka Mukti Vade Krishna Kabu Nahi Pai Shraddhavane Vraj Lila Shuddha Rupe Bhaya. For the dry Muktivadis, they can never attain the shelter of Sri Krishna. But one endowed with spiritual Shraddha will gradually realize the full esoteric aspects of Vrajlila. Gaur Premanande. Jai Saptam Gosai Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So, we completed just before Rishabdev Prabhu and Nischinta Didi have to temporarily, for a very short time, leave Navadvip Dham. We'll continue with our classes until they return. And they can also tune in online because they're available if they want to stay current. So after reading this, now we're going to go back to the Upadeshamrita, Manasiksha, and Rag Vartma Chandrika, and what Gurudev spoke to the thirsty GBC Chakori birds, the hidden path of devotion, conversations on Rag Vartma Chandrika. We got a lot of nectar coming. And we're also going to kind of study Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj because I have the synonyms. Very nice to have that in your mind when you're chanting it. And the Jaiva Dharma, we're not putting it to rest. No, no, no. Jaiva Dharma will be continued. Gaur Premanandi. Any comments or any questions of the learned Vaishnavas in our assembly? You have two.
This is our
What's, yes, Shraddhaya Sevan. Shraddhaya Sevan. Yeah. Doesn't matter. We can, but you can start it here. And also, Bopadev had some question or comment. Well, maybe yours is shorter. Let's see. Okay.
So I read Srimad Bhagavatam.
Well, you maybe use the mic so those who are online can hear. Keep it real close to your mouth, that little mic at the tip there. Yeah.
So Srimad Prabhupada writes.
Not turned on. There's no... What? Huh? Let's try it a little closer.
All right.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, I will show you the exact verse, but in the shloka, and then further Prabhupada explains that prior to liberation from this world,
Mm.
the jiva must dissolve his subtle body.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we've heard that very subtle body should be engaged in transferring the material energy to the pure spiritual energy. Logan is the Buddha's there, and such is there. So is that very turning of the attention of the consciousness what will dissolve the subtle body? So that's my question, is it that the consciousness is part, in a sense, from the subtle body and focused on transcendence, or somehow the subtle body engaged?
Well, what does the subtle body do? Thinking, feeling, willing, right? Thinking, feeling, willing. Okay. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. So we just heard that in the bhav-apan stage, the devotee is completely capable of controlling the subtle and the gross body. In that bhav-apan stage where he's realized his swarup siddhi, at that stage, that's nearly the end, sampati dasha, at that stage. Then, automatically, the subtle and the gross body are destroyed. That's not something that the sadhak himself is doing. The Krishna is doing. The practice, the mercy is doing. All of that is doing that. Also, we've heard before, I remember, that there's an explanation, I think, in Lord Kapila Dev's teachings, of how the devotee, in the course of his performing sadhan bhajan, that his gross body and subtle body, it's kind of like a coconut. That when the coconut becomes more and more ripened, if no one cuts it open when it's green and drinks the juice, it'll ripen. And internally, what will take place is the round, very hairy kind of coconut itself will loosen and become actually separated from the outer shell. It'll be, you can shake it and you can hear. That comparison, that analogy is given to show that in the course of one's performing sadhan bhajan, automatically the gross and the subtle body, they will become separated from the Atma. The Atma will realize it had nothing to do with. We also know that until the stage of bhav-apan, the stage of attainment of bhav, there is still some connection. There's still some connection is there. But in the stage of bhav, there's no more connection. He's fully realized. And how are his activities going on then? His eating, sleeping, this, that. It's all going on by the control of the Lord. We have that verse in the 5th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, that the person in the stage of samadhi understands that his eating, his... what is that verse? Yeah, his eating and all of his different activities are going on separately. They're automatically going on. The person in the stage of samadhi, that's what's being explained. You know, so I think, I don't know if that answers the question. It gives a little bit more background. But was there something more specific in that question?
Well, I was just trying to consider what is the phenomenon, whether the subtle body is engaged, or whether actually the consciousness just disengages completely.
Well, yeah. But the subtle body is externally going through the actions. He doesn't even know. He does nothing, and he doesn't know even what is going on, because Krishna is doing that now at that stage. He's so absorbed that he doesn't have consciousness of that externally.
At some point, you just lose your mind and body.
Yes. We want that. Although our body may be destroyed, just like we saw 2 days ago, by fire, but the subtle body is still going on with the Atma until that stage. That subtle body will always go with the Jivatma. And that the same subtle body has been with us for billions, trillions, and zillions of years, and births and so forth. It's the same subtle body. It's not like you get a new subtle body when you go into the next body. No, you get new gross bodies after gross bodies, but the subtle body is the same. Just see how, what's the word?
That's why you want to lose
Indestructible.
That's why you want to lose your mind before you lose your body.
Well, you can put it that way. That would have been a better slogan for the 60s. Then, what is it? Drop out. Tune in, turn on, drop out. Lose your subtle body before you lose your gross body. Yeah. Okay, what was yours? Popadevji?
I fail to understand one of his last statements, that he said simply by practicing bhajan of
Prakat. Prakat Leela, manifest.
Previously, he said that's from healing.
Yeah.
So I was confused because only through Kram Shuddha can you attain perfection. So I was supposed to mention that he attain perfection because previously he had mentioned that it's from healing that you attain.
No, that was Krabaheen in what stage? Shravan Dasha. Right. And then at the very end, I'll just look it up quickly here. So this is describing what Vijay Kumar did at the end. So now Vijay Kumar became completely free from doubt in every respect. He, huh?
In the instruction,
Okay.
in his last instruction,
Oh yes, yes. Okay. So it says here.
one simply
Yeah. The bhaktas, however, they have no need for all these descriptions. It is recommended that they should perform bhajan by taking support of the Prakat Leela, that Sri Krishna has very kindly manifested in this world, and they will accomplish all perfection by this alone. Those who perform such bhajan in Gokul with the nishta they will very soon receive a spurti of Goloka in their hearts. So in other words, the catalyst for this spurti happening is that they will take shelter. It says here, taking support. They're performing their bhajan by taking support of the Prakat Leela that Sri Krishna has very kindly manifested in this world. And they will accomplish all perfection by this alone. And those who perform such bhajan in Gokul with nishta, they will very soon receive a spurti of Goloka in their hearts. And then all the Divya Leela of Gokul are also eternally existent in Goloka. For in Tattva there is no distinction between them. Those with material vision, they perceive phenomena and activities in Gokul as mundane or illusory, but such perception ceases to exist at the time of Swarup Siddhi. So one should continue to perform bhajan and be satisfied with whatever realization of the transcendental reality is bestowed upon him according to his adhikar. This is really Sri Krishna's instruction. If we sincerely adhere to his instructions in due course of time, he will surely bestow on us his causeless mercy, through which we can have the full vision of his Divya Leela. So, does that shed light on the question? Or not?
Yeah. One stage is Shravan Daksha, this stage is speaking.
Right, but the Shravan Dasha of the sequential krama and kramahin was referring to the listeners at that stage, and that's a very much more beginning stage, you know. But what he was telling, if I remember correctly, was how if one is hearing only the Prakat Leela and not understanding how the Prakat Leela and the Nitya Leela are connected, if one is only hearing in that way, then that is kramahin. But krama shuddha, I can look it up again and we can hear exactly what he was stating. Krama shuddha means that both are being heard, both are being cultivated. Not only the Leela that is manifest in this world. Yeah. Okay. So, that completes our class. And so now we'll chant a few mantras of Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Sanatan, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Rupa Raghunath, Rupa Raghunath, Jaya Rupa Raghunath, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Jaiva Dharma Ki Jai, Manasiksha Ki Jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Shri Upadeshamritam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Vrindai Tulsidebai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glory to the assembled devotees. Rishabh, Dev, that photo of Prabhupada that I lent, does anyone specific have it? Okay. Okay.
I thought it was